and welcome to Special Stage Extra. Here's what we've got coming up on the show today. But first of all, we're here on the Isle of Man for a round at the HRCR Old Stager Championship. Now, such an iconic event has brought out some very iconic cars, and these minis have come from all over the world to be here. Now let's head out to the stages for all of the action. The action kicks off with a super special on the seafront in Douglas. Cars going head to head and entertaining the crowds, followed by a couple of stages in the dark on the Thursday evening. And it would be Sean Rayner and Declan Deer that lead the crews at the end of the day. But the main action would take place with a full day rallying the next day. This weekend, some of the crews will be carrying the stickers, wishing all the best to David Stokes, who couldn't be here this weekend due to ill health. Everyone at Special Stage wishes David all the best. On to the first of the proper daylight stages then, and it would be the early lead for Sean Rayner and Declan Deer, but that almost wasn't to be. The pair having a big moment on the jumps and damaging the front of the car. They reached the end of this leg in the lead and with some work to do. It would be the first of the minis in second place, Adrian Commode and Maurice Beckett taking up that position. Choosing not to score championship points on this round, just enjoying the battle with the numerous other minis here this weekend. Mark Holmes and Craig Simkis were a little down on the class and overall leaders, lying in third at this stage and second in the class. Brake problems on day one, meaning they start the second day at a 5-minute disadvantage. Ricky Profit and James Whittaker have a great start to the event, lying fourth at this stage and leading the way of the Category 1 contenders in the Porsche. Clive King and Anton Bird were the second of the minis and indeed the top point scorers in the minis at this stage. 5th place overall and 3rd in Category 2 behind Holmes. For Heater Horsburgh and Graham Carter, it would be 2nd place in Category 1. A slower start than they would have hoped for, but the pace was still good, lying in 6th overall too. Shinobu and Hiroko Katani would be the first of our Japanese crews. They make a good start to the event, with 7th overall and now 3rd in Category 1. Andrew O'Hanlon and Brian Hodgkinson had started this morning lying in 7th overall, but they would drop a little in the later stages to end this leg in 8th place overall and 4th in Category 2. Nick Danks and Martin Corbett were certainly having their fair share of problems, already on the Super Rally to lie in 9th place, some way back from the lead where their fight would normally be. And rounding out the top 10 were Peter Ellaby and Paul Price, just 30 seconds off the pace of O'Hanlon ahead for the class battle. So at the end of this leg, the results look like this. On to the next leg of the event, and there will be a change in the lead as we lose Sean Rayner, being replaced on the results by Mark Holmes and Craig Simkis, leading the crews overall and in the class now. Desi Nutt and Geraldine McBride continue to lead the way in Category 1. The lead in that category was around 2 minutes now, so things were looking good going into the final day of rallying. And Adrian Commode and Maurice Beckett still have the lead of the minis at this stage, just less than 30 seconds back from Nutt overall. So with the crews entertaining the crowds in Castletown, it would all be changed at the top of the results, but some of those class and category battles were looking like they were almost decided. On to the final day's action and still plenty more miles for the crews, including parts of the TT circuit. Koji Yarb and Yashiro Omida are one of the 2 Japanese crews to make it to the finish. This car not historic spec, but with the 4 car teams travelling all the way from Japan and the USA, they deserve a mention. Nick Pinkett and Hugh Myers round out the historic crews, the Saab crew actually gaining a few places on the overall results in the final stage, but it wouldn't change the championship points. Yoshiano Tutsuya and Mitsuro Akano were the only ones of the Japanese historic minis to finish the event. They reached the end with 5th place in the HRCR Cruise. No change in the pace for Andrew O'Hanlon and Brian Hodgkinson, but retirements ahead mean they finish the event as 2nd of the minis and 4th overall, even with a 2-minute penalty. And taking the honours as the fastest of the mini cruise were Peter Hornsborough and Graham Carter. Their self-confessed slow start to the event certainly came good in the end, with 3rd place overall. And the final stages wouldn't see any change to the category for Ricky Profit and James Whittaker. They remain where they were to take 2nd in the category and 2nd overall. And with the loss of Mark Holmes and Adrian Commode, it means that the win this weekend goes to Desi Nutt and Geraldine McBride. They take the win and, of course, the category honours in that Porsche. So with the final stage complete, here's a reminder of the overall results. Congratulations on the win this weekend. How have you found it?
It was fantastic. The stages were brilliant, as they often are on the Isle of Man. It's second to none in the UK, really. And we've had a great run. We've got new pace notes this year, and we've been able to go much faster, but not as fast as Adrian Kermode, who's probably done about 20 times more Isle of Man rallies than I have. But we had a great run, so it was really good.
Did he listen to everything that you had to tell him this weekend?
Yes, he did. Yeah, and we got all the notes right, and it all went well. So good weekend, and the weather was brilliant as well, which was lovely. So back next year.
Good, because you can't really ask for more. And also, you've had some Japanese people come over just to drive against you.
We have, but they are just wonderful, and they've been over the last couple of years and become really good friends. They brought me a little lucky charm, a doll, which you fill in one eye and make a wish. And my wish, which I can tell you now, was that we finished. And when the wish comes true, you can fill in the other eye. So it's a lovely little charm. They always bring a present. They are fantastic people. They really are great. We love them to bits. Yeah. I was just sorry they didn't all finish, especially Shinobu, who organises it all. No, really good.
So that's it for a tough and challenging Rally Isle of Man. Next up for the championship, it's back onto gravel at the Cambrian.
Special Stage once again made the trip to Jersey to cover the 2-day rally taking place on the island's fast but narrow lanes. Last year's and multiple times winner of the event Simon Major soon found out how narrow the stages were in places, retiring after parking the Escort in a wall. Both crew members okay, but the victory wasn't going to be theirs this year. There would be battles going on right through the field and plenty of action on the stages, but by the end of day 2, when it really mattered, it was Stevie Leonard topping the timesheets, and he comes out with the win. The trophy staying on the island this year, but there would surely be many looking to take it away in 2016. You can catch coverage of this year's Jersey Rally in our show on the 13th of November. As always, keep an eye on our social media channels for all the details and latest updates from the Special Stage team.
Crews in the Paceward MLR and Whiteline22B.com Sprint Series headed for Rockingham for the 7th and final round of this year's championship. And with a big turnout, the action on track was as close as ever. The battle between Anthony Lidster and Duncan Cowper would sadly end before it began, with Lidster's car not being ready and having to use his road car. But thankfully Cowper would have competition from a few others, including Andy Hughes, the pair swapping fastest times all day, but it would eventually be Cowper who comes out on top. Many of the other class and championship battles were sewn up this weekend, with some very close battles to decide those. And you can find out exactly how it all ended in our show on the 30th of October.
This weekend saw the AWDC crews head to Walters Arena for the 2nd time this season. Joined this weekend by crews from Staffordshire and Shropshire Club, and providing plenty of action out on the course. Chris Burr needed a good result here to take the title, and despite a worrying first lap when the car suffered a broken drive shaft, it would be victory this weekend, securing his place at the top of the championship for 2015. Competition and action on the day was as good as ever right through the classes, and teams from both clubs battled through the challenging conditions on the course throughout the day. Despite a few incidents holding up proceedings, competitors enjoyed the day and complimented the course. You can catch all of the action from this and the final round of the championship in our show on the 4th of December, and if you want to head along to the next event, then keep an eye on our social media for all of the details.
One of the highlights of our series this year has been the BTRDA Mixed Surface Challenge, combining the best of the UK's premier gravel and asphalt rally championships. Now, 5 times asphalt rally champion Damien Cole couldn't make it 6 times on the asphalt this season, Simon Major taking that title. But Damien is in the running for the mixed surface, and he could tie it up here at the penultimate round at Trackrod Rally Yorkshire, but he won't have it all his own way. Here's who we're looking out for today for the Mixed Surface Challenge. So Damien Cole just needs a good result here to secure the title. Sarah Williams, Ash Slights and Steve Simpson all fighting for the podium positions. So the last 2 rounds are on gravel in the Mixed Surface Challenge. Trackrod is underway right now in the Yorkshire Forest. Let's see how our competitors get on. On to the first couple of stages then, and it will be Stephen Petch and Ian Windress that take the early lead, although they did have a bit of a moment hitting a chicane in the morning stages. For Damien Cole and Jack Morton, it would be second. Petch wasn't a threat for the championship, but that didn't mean he could back off. A slightly cautious start for the first time on gravel in that new car, but it was going well so far for the 5 times asphalt champion. Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh had been gaining pace on the gravel all season in the Fiesta. The pair have a good start to the event here in Yorkshire to take 3rd place for now. Sarah Williams and Mark Glenister had enjoyed a great season this year. Consistently good results on both surfaces, which meant they were looking good for the championship, and this weekend will be no different, starting the day with 4th position. A bit of a moment in the opening stages would give Aaron McClure and Elliot Edmondson a scare, but they keep it going to the end, even with intercom problems forcing them to use hand signals. For now, the pair have to settle with 5th. Callum Black and Paul Wakely had written themselves out of the championship battle when their Manx rally didn't go to plan. But on the gravel, the pair were flying. 6th place for now and leading Class 5. Ash Slights and Alex Lee, on the other hand, were having a great season all round. Wins in the class on all rounds they contested would see them in the top of the overall championship results. And for this weekend, it will be the class lead once again and 7th overall.
6 right long, 80 care, 3 right slowing, into 1 left in. 3 right slowing, 1 left in. 40, 6 right and 6 left, and 6 right plus 80, 5 right plus don't cut 100, 6 right bumpy and 5 left plus bumpy continues for 100, 5 left plus 60, 4 left plus cuts, 4 left plus cuts 200, 6 right 150, caution, small press slowing 40, 10 hairpin left tight, hairpin left tight.
Richard Sykes and Emma Morrison's season had been mixed. Unfortunately, for every good round they had a bad one. Thankfully though, this weekend wasn't following this pattern. The pair lie in 8th place overall. Some great pace from Chris Powell and Jim Lewis had seen things improve as the season went on. But without the asphalt results to back up the gravel ones, a championship result wouldn't really be an option for the pair. Matthew Thompson and Charlotte Banner would have intercom problems this morning, but it wasn't slowing them down too much. They lead the class, lying in 10th overall. And it will be the class lead for Nick Carr and Joe Sturdy too. Some good results on both surfaces for the Volkswagen pair this season, and today on their home event it was looking no different. No problems for Lewis Roper and Nick Allison, which made a refreshing change. They were looking at getting a finish this weekend, and so far they were getting through the stages without any issues. And for Sam Billam and Joe Crittenden, the only real issue will be a broken handbrake cable. Tricky on the tight corners, but luckily there were not too many of those in the Yorkshire stages. So at the end of the first loop, the results look like this. On to the next couple of stages, and there will be no change in the lead for Stephen Petch and Ian Windress. A problem getting the car off the line had lost them some time, but apart from that, it was looking good. And for Damien Cole and Jack Morton, there will be no change either, remaining second overall and still with over half a minute to catch the leaders in the final two stages of the event. Aaron McClure and Elliot Edmondson have a good run to move up the results into third now. It would of course be helped by the loss of Steve Simpson in this loop of stages. Sarah Williams and Mark Glenister continued their good pace. A little worrying problem with the handling would have to be looked at in service, but for now they remain in fourth place. Callum Black and Paul Wakely were still looking good in the class and overall results in that Citroën. No problems to report, and with around 20 seconds advantage in that position on the leaderboard too. Ash Slights and Alex Lee meanwhile continued their good run. Another local pair, no problems. They were on track for another maximum points finish in Class 2. Despite an off-road moment in the morning stages, Richard Sykes and Emma Morrison were still holding a good pace and lying in 7th overall, getting used to the pace of the car a little more stage by stage this season. Chris Powell and Jim Lewis climbed the results slightly, due mostly to the loss of Steve Simpson up ahead, but they end this loop with second in the class behind Slights and 8th on the overall leaderboard. Lewis Roper and Nick Allison managed to keep themselves out of trouble, although they were complaining of an overheating flaw on the Evo. More than likely, a problem coming from knocking the hot exhaust into the underside of the car. Never a good idea. And no problems for Nick Carr and Joe Sturdy, keeping things going to take up 10th place now and continuing to lead Class 1. Just outside the top 10 overall was Sam Billam and Joe Crittenden. Now with half a handbrake working, they could at least manage some of the tighter corners a little better. So with just 2 stages to go, it was looking good for Damien Cole as he moves a step closer to that title. On to the final stages then here at Rally Yorkshire, and it will be an 8th place finish for Sam Billam and Joe Crittenden, despite the car not looking its best by the end of the event. Nick Carr and Joe Sturdy have a good finish to take another class victory, putting them in 6th overall on the championship leaderboard. And for Chris Powell and Jim Lewis, it will be 6th on the leaderboard at the end of the event, but with no asphalt scores, it unfortunately didn't do their championship any good. Ash Slights and Alex Lee, on the other hand, do their championship a world of good. Points from this round mean a perfect run in the class this season. The pair take up 3rd overall in the points. Callum Black and Paul Wakely reached the end of the rally just outside the podium places with 4th. Good points for this weekend, but with that bad asphalt record this season, it wasn't going to change their championship. Sarah Williams and Mark Glenister, however, were looking for the championship points at this stage, and they got them as well. 3rd place overall, and enough points to move Sarah into 2nd overall in the championship. After being close to throwing it away this morning, 2nd place would be a very welcomed finish for Aaron McClure and Elliot Edmondson. Another not gaining anything in the championship overall, but a good result nevertheless for the pair this weekend. Unfortunately for rally leader Stephen Petch, problems would sideline the Fiesta in the final loop. A disappointing end to the rally, but what that did mean was that it was victory for Damien Cole and Jack Morton, a result that nets the pair the title for 2015 champions here in Yorkshire.
60. Long flat crest 80. Crest 40 down, left 4 minus.
So before we chat to the winners, here's a reminder of the overall results. Well, there we are, 2015 Mixed Surface BTRDA champions, and you do it in style with second place on the podium here at the Trackwood. How do you feel?
Yeah, we had a great day today. Best gravel result of the year because we managed, I think, 5th on the Somerset stages, but to come second first time in this car today, fantastic event. We had a really good day.
I know you were looking for 6 asphalt titles this season, but you also hedged your bets on this Mixed Surface Challenge, and we always said, what would happen if you combined the 2 best UK championships into one? I think we've seen it, haven't we?
Definitely, it's definitely been one of the best championships we've done for the last few years, and it's definitely BTRD and Asphalt Championships both had excellent rallies throughout the year, and to combine them both has been a brilliant idea, so well done to both championships.
And I think just to add to the story for you both as well, brand new car, and you've got it on the podium, and you've sewn up that title with the new car. You got it dirty.
Yeah, it's been really good today on gravel. Obviously, it's a very, very quick car. We just need a bit more practice on gravel, I think, to really get the best out of it. So we might have to come back next year and do a few more.
The BTRDA Rally Championship put the UK's premier gravel and tarmac series together, and they made the BTRDA Mixed Surface Challenge. Damien Cole, Jack Morton, 5 times Asphalt Rally champion, now inaugural Mixed Surface champion in that Get Connected Fiesta WRC. What a fantastic season we've had. Damien, of course, will be delighted, and it only bodes well for a new season next year.
Five right flat in and 6 right continued over clear.